7 News, on your side at 6 a.m. We begin with a breaking news alert.
And that breaking news right now is 6 a.m. Hundreds of people you see here stranded in Stafford County. This morning, we're sharing the stories of stuck drivers on I-95, and we just got an update from VDOT moments ago. Thanks for joining us this morning. I'm Robert Berg.
I'm Ashley Rodriguez. So while you were sleeping, 7 News producers took several calls from people who say they've been stuck on I-95 since as early as 1 yesterday afternoon, some even earlier. And this all started because of several jackknife tractor trailers on the highway, and they've been without food, without water, no bathrooms, many of them now running out of gas.
And VDOT actually put out their first statement on the situation, saying I-95 is closed for 33 miles from exit 152 at Dumfries Road to exit 104 at Carmel Church. Now, VDOT says this: we know many travelers have been stuck on Interstate 95 in our region for extraordinary periods of time over the past 24 hours. In some cases, since Monday morning. This is unprecedented, and we continue to steadily move stopped trucks to make progress toward restoring lanes. The agency says it plans to start guiding vehicles that have been stuck for hours to alternate routes. And we're bringing you live team coverage of this situation this morning. Starting with 7 News' Kristen Powers, who's been trying to get to that scene right there, but she can't because she is stuck.
Some people I've been talking to, they have been stuck in this absolute mess for 12 plus hours. And right now it's about 25 degrees. Of course, overnight, it even got colder than that. So for people, this is a real concern, a safety concern first and foremost. Many people in this gridlock are saying they're starting to run out of gas. Some people have run out of gas. So there's disabled vehicles that just can't move even if they do get traffic up and moving. Some people say they've been in their car for so long they don't have any more water, they don't have any food.
No gas. They just had the inside open but no gas.
How long have you been out here?
Since 8:30 last night.
I was sitting still for at least, let's say about 3 hours. Just sitting there.
Going nowhere.
Nowhere.
So this is not only frustration, but people are starting to get afraid, like they're scared.
Sure, it's fear, and it's understandable. In the meantime, we are hearing from many people who are stuck in this mess. And that, in fact, includes Joshua Bertoni, who first called our newsroom while you were sleeping. We have him on the phone right now, I believe. Joshua, we checked in with you about 45 minutes ago. You tell us you are tired, you are cranky, probably scared as well, definitely understandable. What's your situation right now?
Well, my situation has not changed too much because just haven't done a lot of moving. To those who are worried about food, somebody did put out on Twitter that if you go to truck drivers, a lot of them have extra snacks that they're willing to give out. When I saw that, I braved some social anxiety, went up, asked the truck driver, hey, you got anything? I got a 12-year-old in the car with me that's hungry. And I was able to bring back donuts, chips, and a water bottle to a happy 12-year-old who is now napping.
The backup is bad both ways. Even northbound, we are seeing backups that are lasting about 48 miles. But checking southbound, we have a severe closure as they try to just clear things out between Fairfax County Parkway and Dumfries Road and the other stretch between Dumfries and Carmel Church Road. SkyTrack 7 has a wider shot of what's actually going on, showing crews trying to actively remove people and just rescue. There are rescue teams at this point.
People actually tweeting VDOT, where are you? Why are you being silent? They're expecting to see crews and expecting to get help, but they're not seeing or hearing anything. So no doubt, Lainey, you're very upset by this situation. If it was my parents, I can only imagine. A lot of the people stuck in these cars have kids with them. So what is the biggest concern you have right now for your parents?
My father has a heart condition, so I'm concerned that, he doesn't have access to food. Water, a bathroom. My parents probably won't be happy with me saying this, but they've been, forced to use plastic bags in the car, go on the side of the road. I'm concerned that they've had to turn off the car to conserve energy because, it's only on half tank of fuel. So they're bundling up and sleeping in, sub-freezing weather. I'm concerned that there's been absolutely no information provided to us. I apologize for being upset, but VDOT tweeted out, their last substantive update about, 6-7 hours ago.
We are looking at 95 southbound. Here is a still photo, but it's almost the same as the video because nothing is moving. Here's a shot of south of Dumfries Road. Now, Virginia State Police are telling us that they've cleared most of the crashes. It's just trying to treat the roads and dealing with disabled vehicles who have ran out of gas and have been there throughout the night.
And among those left stuck on I-95, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, who just got to the Capitol after being stuck on the interstate for hours. In fact, Kaine tweeted this picture earlier today saying he was on his way to the Capitol back then. At the time of his tweet, Senator Kaine said he'd been stranded for more than 19 hours.
All of this unfolding on social media, people sending desperate messages online, especially on Twitter, sharing this experience that they're going through being stranded on Interstate 95. For example, one thing that we saw earlier is that people were joining this space, this live audio conversation, essentially. This guy right here, Jimmy, says that he was listening to this space where people were able to tell what they're going through in real time of being stranded on I-95. He said people were walking car to car distributing water and food. Now take a look at this picture. It's a mother who tweeted two of her daughters sleeping and trying to stay warm in the back seat simply because they couldn't keep the car running because they were out of gas. They were taking turns in the back seat trying to stay warm. And then this visual right here really brings it all home and puts it into perspective. She says, Alex says, we just watched an 80-year-old grandmother assisted out of her vehicle to use the bathroom on black ice. Again, that visual really shows what many people were going through. Now, I talked to Matthew Feynman here earlier on the phone, and of course, he has this positive quote at the top saying, I guess there's this silver lining, and he calls the views beautiful. So he sees the positive, but he says, they sat in their car for 14 hours with 4 kids, including a 1-year-old baby. They were on their way to D.C. after visiting family over the holidays in Florida.
At this hour, VDOT is working to move vehicles off the interstate to bring snow plows and tow trucks in to help remove the tractor trailers and cars that simply can't move. This is a live look at the scene from SkyTrack 7, where you can see the roads have cleared up a bit. You see those plows working on the road right now. Cars are now being detoured between Caroline County and Prince William County. At one point, this backup spanned 40 miles. But again, this is such a welcome sight to see those plows moving and doing their work. Our team coverage begins tonight with Nick Minock on Route 1 in Woodbridge. Nick, any idea when the interstate will be completely open again?
Well, VDOT told us a few hours ago that they're hoping to clear those disabled vehicles and open up all of I-95 by rush hour tomorrow. We're expecting an update in about a few minutes from VDOT. And right now I am in Woodbridge. Here's a live look at Route 1 in Woodbridge, and you can just see cars and semi-trucks as far as the eyes can see. A lot of these cars are being rerouted, taking back roads and alternative routes around 95. And these folks, they're just trying to get home.
And that's the only way I can get home, 95 South.
Getting home took longer than normal on I-95 in Northern Virginia, much longer. Paul and his wife Linda were on their way home to Manassas, Virginia from Georgia. And when they hit I-95 in Stafford County around 5:30 p.m. Monday, they were stranded for more than 15 hours on the road. Cars and semis backed up for miles. We spoke to Paul and Linda on the phone.
We saw families with young children in neighboring cars. We knew there were bound to be older people. There were bound to be people with health conditions.
Through the night, Paul and Linda kept waking up because of the freezing temperatures. They shut their car off to preserve gas like many others. Hundreds of people ran out of gas. Some even abandoned their cars. From Monday evening into Tuesday, Interstate 95 was backed up from Ruther Glen exit to Fairfax County Parkway exit. That's a 64-mile stretch. To put this into perspective, that's more than half of the width of the state of Maryland, the length of more than 18,700 long bed pickup trucks, the length of more than 4,600 18-wheel semi-trucks, and the length of 32 national malls.
That was really surprising. You have all these cars and, they keep saying we're assisting. You're not assisting. You're not doing a thing. It's just surprising no one checked on anybody.
Do you feel like VDOT dropped the ball on this?
Oh, yeah. I mean, cold may be a little nicer, but isn't this their job to know how to work a snowplow?
We knew the snowstorm was coming. This has become a national story and a national embarrassment. The 7 News I-team now has been on your side questioning exactly how did this happen. Investigative reporter Mitch Blocker is with us now with what the governor and the transportation officials have to say. Mitch, everybody's curious what they had to say.
Yeah, and we're trying to understand how thousands of drivers wound up in more than 50 miles of traffic. And those in charge of Virginia's highways, they say the storm quickly overwhelmed them, but they didn't have a clear answer when we asked why cars continued to get onto the interstate.
This is the biggest traffic jam Virginia's Department of Transportation says it has ever dealt with. Virginia State Police say the first tractor trailer jackknifed in the ice and snow around 8 Monday. It caused a domino effect that rippled more than 50 miles north and south of Fredericksburg. While drivers sat in the day's worth of traffic. Wait while I transfer your call. We went to work trying to get answers from the governor.
I have a couple of questions for you.
And Virginia's Department of Transportation.
Whether treating the roads was considered.
Some answers came on a media call Tuesday afternoon.
We know that there were still an enormous amount of vehicles that were stuck for many, many hours, which we find completely unacceptable for those folks.
Virginia's DOT says it didn't treat the roads with anti-icing solution because the storm started as rain and would have washed it away. That's one reason Virginia officials say up to 4 inches of ice stacked up on I-95. Among those stuck, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, who tweeted about his 19-hour commute from Richmond to Washington.
You all addressed why the roads weren't treated prior to the storm, but I'm wondering why wasn't the interstate closed once you realized that there was a big problem?
We will be assessing all of that.
VDOT's Marcy Parker told us the state will look for that answer when it conducts its post-incident investigation. She said when the snow started falling at more than 2 inches an hour, all they could do was wait it out.
Could we have kept up with the snowfall rate of that amount? No. Pretty much when it gets over an inch an hour, we have a hard time.
Could you or should you have done something to prevent more cars from entering the highway?
That is something that we will look at. I mean, we have to weigh that with the fact that people want to get to where they want to get to, and we can't necessarily predict the outcome of each storm. So in the future, we will weigh that for closing parts of the interstate earlier than we had to this time.
Now, there is some good news with this story, too. Right now, Virginia's Department of Emergency Management says that nobody was killed or even injured from being stuck on the interstate. VDOT says that 50-mile stretch of I-95 clogged with disabled cars and trucks, that it will be clear and back open on Wednesday morning.
So basically, I left out the house yesterday to get a bag of charcoal because we have no power.
Eric Smith of Stafford County says he just wanted to light the grill to cook and get some stuff for his kids. But that simple errand turned into an 18-plus hour ordeal.
Yeah, that was around 7 o'clock, and I haven't been back home since.
This is an outrage. This is how you treat your taxpayers?
Maurice Watson spent the night on 95 also. He says no help came until this morning.
They passed out water. What water going to do this morning? I ain't ate in 24 hours. I've ran out of gas. I called VDOT 6 times. No one came.
But people did help each other. For instance, Maurice says he was grateful to Eric, who was giving him a ride.
I told him get in the car with me, get him some gas. I'm trying to get him as close as I can back to his car.
Everyone we talked to said Virginia seemed totally unprepared for this storm.
I could see down south, they're not prepared for the snow, but Virginia does get snow.
Drivers say what was especially frustrating as they spent the night on 95 was looking at the express lanes and wondering why in the world they were never opened up for cars.
I mean, they've got the audacity to charge you when you want to go on them on a good day, but yet when it's a means of transportation, they should have opened them up.
You got a hot lane, literally, clearly, that's wide open, no cars running down it. It's for emergencies, you can at least let the vehicles get over there and let people get home.
It was a nightmare, 24 hours plus on the making out on Interstate 95. It is coming to an end as we speak for thousands of drivers because late this afternoon, crews started detouring cars off the highway. Some drivers have been stuck out there since yesterday morning when the snowstorm caused crashes and massive backups, and they're wondering, why wasn't this done yesterday?
That's right. The Fredericksburg, Virginia area got around 14 inches of snow. 7 News is on your side with team coverage tonight, talking to countless stranded drivers and working to get answers from the state about how this happened. We begin with Nick Minock. He is live along Route 1 in Woodbridge. Nick?
Well, we just learned a major update from the Virginia Department of Transportation. They say there are no more stranded people on I-95. That's what they say. And they also say there's about 20 vehicles left to be removed from I-95. Once that happens, they say power trains or snow trains will come in. They'll remove the ice from the road and also the snow. And they have their work cut out for them because last night there was 4 inches of snow on I-95, and that's likely still to be the case. And right now I'm live along Route 1 in Woodbridge. This is one of the routes that a lot of drivers were taking to get around I-95 to get on their way. And if you were with us on WJLA at 4 o'clock, you saw Route 1 was completely packed with traffic. At this hour, traffic is running much more smoothly.